Lisa McCune, it's fantastic to have you on with us on Women's Words. Tell us a little bit, you've got this incredible project, Hopscotch and Honey Joys.
It's a nice title.
It's a beautiful title, isn't it?
I didn't think it up, but so I can say that it's a beautiful title.
I'll say it's your title.
Yeah.
It's one of those great titles that really inspires you to, not only is the cover of the book beautiful and it's just recently been launched, but you kind of read about it and it creates this kind of warmth that almost when you open the page is a piece of sunshine that seems to pop out. Do you feel like that?
Oh, that's so lovely. Yeah, I did. We kind of, my girlfriend and I wrote it together and because it involves our experiences with children and learning along the way, the hard way at times. I guess it is. There is a bit of joy in it, and we had such a nice time putting it together and cooking our way through it. And you know, for those people who are mums, you do stay at home a lot more, and so you try to do things nicely sometimes at home because I guess it's a treat. So I'm glad you got the joy out of it because it's our joy really. You know, we kind of loved doing it. It's a little piece of our hearts in there, I think.
I think there's always a piece of your heart in a special intimate project like this, and for someone like you, you've been on the stage, you've been a face that we've all known to love, and really I think, as I've said to you on a couple of occasions when we've met, is you're like a little gold Logie yourself. You know, you've got this gorgeous fair hair and this beautiful petite figure.
It's not real.
It is. It's her real hair, let me tell you. And you look as gorgeous in person as you do on the television set and in the shows we've seen, and The Sound of Music, and you know, Blue Healers. You've really been part of our lives for many Australians growing up. For something for you with this project, was it far more personal because you were giving almost more of yourself in a different way?
I think so, and I've been really conscious about because you play an actor, because as an actor you play roles. You don't want too much of your life coming into things, because I think it really can spoil a performance because people see you as a personality, and that's a hard balance to strike. And so this is really the first time that I've come out and talked about being a mum. So I'm 10 years down the road of being a mum. I guess I'm more comfortable with it now, and it's part of my life, and I've settled with it and feel as though I've got a bit more to say about it now. I think early on media want you to talk about being a mum, but you kind of learning and trying to, you know, find your way yourself. So now I feel that I've managed to get 3 kids, you know, into school at school age, and hence the need to do a creative project, and with a girlfriend who this is her first creative project since having her children, and so she really loved it.
Well, Di Thomas is gorgeous. I mean, she's one of your closest friends. You have a group of good friends.
Yeah.
I suppose, was that something, because for a lot of women in Australia, in having children, they don't necessarily have someone to share that journey with, or to kind of, you know, blurt out to during the day, or to help them get through those difficult times because society's changed and parents aren't close by, or grandparents. Did that make a big difference for you?
It did, and I think we always try to maintain a veneer of, well, not perfection, but I'm coping, and sometimes to be seen to be falling apart, it's not great, but I think we all do. And I think if there's someone around, even though you may not be able to talk about it, you can just sit, you can have a cup of coffee, you can get your mind off things. But I think sometimes we don't trust our instincts as mums enough sometimes as well. We think that it might not be right, we don't trust ourselves. But the biggest tip I can give to anybody is, if you're having a rough day, put the baby in a pram and go for a walk. Just get out of the 4 walls of a house, which can become very big walls, I think. And I think going for a walk is great. I mean, we've been doing it forever, and we'll keep doing it, and it's a great part of life. It's a rite of passage to a degree, but you just need to share.
I think that's so important. And coming back to your book particularly for a moment, there have been so many cookbooks in Australia, and people talk about, you know, MasterChef and the success of cooking, and now, you know, times have certainly changed, but in some ways it's come back to the maestro in the kitchen has the power in the house, because you have these great Australian shows, whereas your book really comes back to, you just got to try and get in and do it. And, you know, when we grew up, I'm not sure about you, but we'd have lamb chops on Monday and roast dinner on Saturday. And we had this traditional spaghetti on Thursday, and times have changed now, and kids don't want the same food. So you have to be creative in making them eat it, don't you?
Yeah, well, we do. I mean, I think Di and I both are huge advocates of meat and 3 veg, but sometimes with a bit of a twist, or add something for the parents. The thing that we try and have tried to eradicate is doing separate meals for the kids and for us, because you know, there's only, as a grown-up, I guess sometimes you want something a little bit more than spaghetti bolognese all the time, and so we've got a few different twists of things that you can add later on, and also the book tries to look at travelling with kids and other things that you might want to do, like games. There's a game in there that I do with my kids that we kind of made up to help them learn to read, which is like a treasure hunt where they get clues and they have to read one and then go to the next stage. But you know, children just kind of, they want you, and I think sometimes too they might misbehave if you're spending hours in the kitchen. So trying to, move that time to them rather than being stuck in the kitchen all the time is a great thing too. But in saying that, it's therapy sometimes cooking. I find it a bit of therapy to, get some lovely herbs and make something beautiful.
If you could have a word of advice for women, be they mums or the powerhouses in the corporate world, what would that be?
I think being organised is really important, and I think trying to avert problems ahead of time. Try and be think ahead a little bit, which I think women are great at multitasking anyway, and ask for help. I need to do that more. Ask someone, and they love it because they'd rather help you out before it gets to crisis point anyway. So that's my big New Year's resolution. And sharing. If you're having a bit of a day that's not great, get out of the house, go and have a coffee, and come back to it with a fresh approach.
I think that's so true, and it doesn't matter whether it's a work environment or it's actually a home environment. It's to actually just take that time and people say smell the roses, but smell the cut grass, smell the roses, look at the sunshine, the smog, whatever it is.
Have a laugh too. I think that laughter is such a great thing. Sometimes you just get out a great movie and have a laugh, and again, a mood changer. I don't think anybody's out of the ordinary if they're having a bad day, whether they have children or not. I think that it's just part and parcel of being alive.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I think, as you say, there are those people, and we expect you to be perfect. We see you in beautiful photographs. You always look the stellar, gorgeous girl that we'd all love to have living next door. And certainly Di's very lucky because she's got you as one of her closest friends, and I know you're lucky having her.
And I find her as such an inspiration, because she's a terrific mother. She's a terrific friend, and she has sacrificed so much in her life to do her family, because her husband has a very full-on job, and so I think she's an incredibly inspiring girl. There's a great quote in the book. It's littered with lots of quotes that I loved, and it's all mothers are working mothers, and I think that resonates for me a lot, because it doesn't matter whether you have a job outside. Essentially, you come home and you're a mum and you're working.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's all part of our changing world.
And thank you for having the conversations, because this is the kind of thing that I think people, it celebrates our womanhood. It's
our
good.
womanhood. I love
wonderful.
That. It's a big word,
yes,
isn't it?
It is word.
Way bigger than sometimes we like to take hold
yes.
of. But thank you for your time, and we look forward to watching, seeing, and hearing of you a lot more in the future.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks.